All right, so this is I'm really excited for this. So this is a conversation with Arif Mizoury, and this is I reached out to Arif several weeks back and had a conversation with him about Google PPC in specifically. And one of the things that he was telling me was how he was really trying to look for how to find people to work in his business as cold callers, acquisition managers, and I recently had a conversation with him over Facebook, and he was telling me the process that he actually went through to find good people, hire good people, and to train those people. And so I just thought there was a ton of awesome, valuable information in what he was saying. I was like, I've got to get him on another conversation, on another call, to really kind of go over some of that stuff, because I think it's super, super valuable for other people out there. It's a bottleneck I've noticed other wholesalers struggling with. How do they find, train, and hire the right people to really scale? And so, yeah, man, I thank you so much for doing this. I really appreciate it. And yeah, so like first, I mean, if you just want to maybe say a little bit about yourself, just kind of who you are, what you currently got going on.
So I'm Arif, Missouri based wholesaler in Tennessee. So I started wholesaling about like a year and a half ago. First it was like, really hard, but then as you learn the process, it became really easy. So I felt like I needed, after a year being in the business, a year and a half, recently, like after we got off the phone, I believe last time we talked, it was several weeks ago. I felt like, I need somebody to take over like the cold calling for me. So I didn't necessarily just get into wholesaling, and then I felt like I could delegate a lot of stuff because I didn't really know. That's what, and that's the thing that a lot of wholesalers struggle with. They feel like they can just delegate that kind of task to people, and then either cold callers or like acquisition or disposition, anybody. It's a really hard task to do, especially if you don't know what you're doing. You're just going to be wasting somebody's time and your money doing that type of thing. So I reached out to some companies to kind of figure out like how they hire people as virtual assistant. They told me, it's Upwork and Facebook groups and stuff like that. So I put in a little ad together and then reached out, posted in several groups and stuff like that. I got about like 10, 15 virtual assistants from the Philippines, like all over, to reach out back out to me. And then I had a Zoom meeting after that, and then kind of figure like, well, who I need for my business. So out of those 15, I only got one. That's he's been crushing it, to be honest. Like we were getting like 15 leads a day now. It depends, and it's because like you have to train people the right way. It's just not the type of conversation that you want them to have and all of that type of stuff. And then after that, I actually hired an acquisition. Then and within the last 3 weeks, he's got 4 contracts. I mean, that's pretty good for somebody that's just starting out to get 4 contracts.
Yeah. So I have a bunch of questions actually. So to kind of go back to what you're saying about, so you reached out to some of these other companies that provide cold callers, right? Because that's what you're
Right.
looking for
Right.
more.
I was looking for cold callers, so I was actually reaching out. I didn't like their rates, to be honest, because like me as a business owner, you try to go for the cheapest and most effective. I mean, I see a lot of people charging $10 to $20 for like virtual assistant, and then I reached out to them, and then yeah, they had an ad for like $4 or $5 an hour, and then a lot of people jumped on it because that's what they're really getting paid over there. That's equivalent to 15, $20 here in America.
Right. Okay. And so what were so you said that you put together like an ad and you went
Yeah.
into some of these Facebook groups. So I mean, you don't have to say exactly which groups you were using, but just what were the type of groups that you were posting in, and then what kind of like, how did you kind of structure that ad? Was it very detailed, complex? Did you have certain things in there that you were looking for? Like, what do you think made that successful?
Very detailed. So I'm looking for somebody that could cold call for me 40 hours a week, from such time and this time, and then like the pay is this much, and then yeah, a lot of people reached out. It's very detailed because a lot of people, like as a beginner wholesaler, they felt like they need a lot of they feel like they can delegate a lot of tasks. They really can't. As you as a business owner, you're like the soul, you're like the fuel to the car. The car is like a wholesaling thing. If you're not fueling it a lot, if you're not working in it, then it's not gonna go anywhere.
Yeah, you're kind of the you're 100% the foundation of the business.
Yeah. Yeah. So you cannot really just delegate everything to anybody because it's not going to take you a long run. You're just going to be wasting your money and then somebody's time, and then it's just going to be like that.
Okay, yeah. And so especially when it comes to something like training someone for acquisitions, like if you don't have that part of your business figured out yourself, is that kind of what you're saying? Then how are you gonna
Yeah. Yeah.
transfer that to someone else?
Cold calling, because like if you don't, if you're not really good at cold calling, like I hated cold calling. Like nobody wants to stay on the phone and cold call people. Like, but I was to a point where like I was calling 200 people a day, like using dollars, obviously, because I cannot handle like 200 people no matter what. Using dollars, like using the right systems to get leads and stuff like that. And then out of those leads, I'll probably close like two, three a month. And then after that, like after I had like a lot of money saved up, and then I felt like, this is it. Let me just, I can waste time now, a little bit of time, I can just chill back out. Let me find the right people to do the right things for me.
Right. Okay. So that's when, so then you're looking into those groups and you put those ads, and then you said a lot of people responded. And
Yeah.
now what kind of people responded to that ad? Like out of all, like you said, you got 15 or so that were responding.
So you have to be very detailed because like these groups are all virtual assistants that you usually like they've been fired by people because either they didn't do their tasks right, or like the whoever like was recruiting them didn't give them very detailed information about the business and stuff like that. So mine was very clear. Hey, you're gonna call for such and such hours and then 40 hours a week. But before we do that, like we have to like see your recordings before. Like if you've done this job, if you tell me you've done this job before, then there's a reason why you were fired, or like why are you still looking for a job? Because there's a lot of wholesalers that need people. I don't see like why you're still over here not for having a job. So yeah, I reached out to them with a very detailed ads and stuff like that. They reached back out. I listened to their previous calls and stuff like that. And then I kind of, after that, you kind of see whoever you want, to be honest, that is going benefit you the most, and then you just go on from there.
Okay, so that qualification process, that was really important for you.
Yeah,
Really.
qualifying people the right way.
And so how many, so you said you hired how many of those people? You had one acquisitions manager, right? But that's separate than your from your cold
Yeah.
caller?
Yeah, I have an acquisition manager that's just, in office. He's working even right now, like he's trying to make calls and send contracts and stuff like that. He usually like works that really hot leads. I
Okay.
had him like shadow me for like 3 weeks, and then I was like, "Hey man, if you feel like you can get a contract, let's do it." So within the first 2 days, he actually got a contract, and then it was like amazing. So after that, like I kind of sit back a little bit, but I was still like, I went from making 200 calls a day to, after hiring that acquisition, to making 100 calls a day, because you still need to be in your business. You need to know what's going on in your business. So after that, like he's making a lot more calls than me. So probably like around like 150, 200 calls. But yeah, after that, yeah, it's been good.
Awesome. And so so how many cold callers did you say you hired?
Uh, like when you're hiring people, you're looking for the right person to do the right, task. So it was like a group interview with like 15 people, try to tell them, hey, like this is what I do, after like, listening to their previous, because they wanted a job. Once you put your ad in there, like it was my mistake. They thought they were hired from that point. So I got them into a Zoom meeting. Uh and I started qualifying them, like you like whoever's done this before, like I would need to hear like some type of conversation that you had in the past with sellers,
Yeah, yeah.
only like out of those 15, like 34 sent me like their calls, and then out of those three or four, I got one of them, and then he's amazing.
Okay. So okay, that makes sense. And so I mean, and then so your acquisitions manager, I'm assuming you hired him someone locally or
Yeah, yeah, local, 100%. Like I wouldn't do any acquisitions like virtually, no.
right, right. Awesome, man. So is there anything else that you would say to people that maybe might have been in a similar situation as you, like doing basically using a lot of their time in their business, they're making progress, but they're just getting burned out doing, all of it on their own. And now they're looking to get some help. And they're maybe like looking to either do what you just did or something similar. Do you have any other advice for them specifically if they're at that point?
If you're in the beginning part, like where if you're still working, like it's your first 6 months into wholesaling, I don't think it's the right idea for you to try to delegate some tasks to people, because that's where you're gonna fall. You're gonna feel like you're gonna get burned out again by these people, because if you don't know what you're doing and you hire somebody else that don't know what they're doing, you're
Yeah.
just kind of, so you need to like have some experience. Like I had to wait like a year and a half to actually do this. Like I'm really good at cold calling. I'm really good at everything, like acquisition, disposition. But that's because like really took my time to do those one by one, and then like really become good at it, and then start finding the right people for my needs in the business.
Yeah, no, that makes 100% sense. So you built the foundation first, and you built each level on top of it. You didn't try to skip a level and jump to the top and missing that foundation out. So that makes plenty of sense to me.
A lot of wholesalers feel like they need, either somebody to guide them in the right direction or not. It's a trial and error type of thing. You just have to fall forward and go for it. Like don't be shy. Don't be shy. Talk to as many people as you can. Every no that you get, you're going to get closer to a yes. So like anybody that's starting out that feels like, hey, I need some cold callers to do this type of task for me, so I can just, even if you get cold callers that are good, that are getting you leads. What if you don't know what you're doing? Like, well, what are you gonna do with those leads? It's just wasting money.
Yep. Yeah, 100%. And I actually give the same advice or kind of guidelines to people that I talk with as well. Sometimes it's just that, if you're thinking about doing something like marketing, like paid traffic, like don't do that until you have all of your other systems and stuff set up, because you don't want to be paying for that and then have, not being able to make use of the leads, right? So
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's about it. So they need to have a lot of experience in the business, like doing it on their own, to actually feel like, because everybody's needs are different. Like, somebody, you might talk to somebody that just needs a acquisition. They might be good at cold calling, or like you might talk to somebody that just needs disposition. Like you could be good at cold calling and needs somebody to disposition and acquisition do for him. I mean, you're gonna have to do those type of things, because you don't want to be that type of, leader. Because I don't call myself a boss, like a business owner. I'm a leader, like to lead those people that I have. That's why they want to work for me, and like they put in a lot more hours. It's a Saturday. My acquisitions is actually so fired up to call on a Saturday. For me, it was like, man, when is this guy going, just chill out? Yeah, get some time off. But he's really working. Yeah, he's gonna make a lot of money. It's been like a month and a half. If you want to put this up, you can. But he's gonna make around like $32,000 off of just, closing deals for me, and then I pay him really good, because it's just me and my business, so I can afford to pay him 20%, 30%, because he's like, the most important task for me. He's doing that, so I can afford to pay him that. It wouldn't matter. But if you go to somebody that's a wholesaler, like big and starting out, they try to pay people like 5%, 10%. That's way below below market, like this probably like $500 and stuff like that a month if they can get deals going on.
Yeah. So you're making sure you provide for
Of
your
course,
people. Yeah.
'cause, that person that I hired right now, when I go to hire the next couple people, he's going to be the one that's going to train them. So I really have to put like my time into this person, so he can actually level up to. I might just make him my partner like in a couple years, because if somebody's loyal enough to stay with you and do like the right type of things that you ask them to do, why would they go anywhere else? Because like he's providing the value that nobody else provided me. Yeah, I wouldn't mind making him a partner actually, like in a couple of years, like if he stays at this level. And a lot of the wholesalers that are, starting out, um, I would say if you're just in it for the money, just quit right now, because it's gonna take a lot of time to get some money.
Yeah.
But if you're in here for the long run, like if you think about it, you have a lot of exit level strategies, like a high level strategies. So if you want to keep a lot of the properties that will appreciate and like, pay off in the long run, go ahead and you're welcome to do that. There's like ways you can go find a lot of hard, these people that lend money to people so they can buy or do fix and flipping. I feel like if you're really good at fix and flipping, you can be really good at, wholesaling. You're going to be a really good, successful wholesaler. Because as a flipper, you know what you need for the property, the numbers and all of that. That just comes automatically. Like you as a flipper, you have to know your numbers. So yeah, and then I would say for these like wholesalers, try to find flippers in your area, and then go talk to them and be like, hey man, what kind of area are you investing in? Because that's how I really started. Found some people that I actually saw like behind my house. There was a couple rundown houses, but we didn't really pay attention to it
Yeah.
until somebody bought it and fixed it up. But when they were in the process of fixing it up, I actually saw some people like, hey man, I live here. How much did you buy this property for? It was like, oh, this and that, such and such. I was like, oh yeah, I'm really starting to wholesale. So here's my number. What? Just let me know what areas you're looking to buy in, and then I'll get you some deals. And that was it. Like my first deal came from like that guy that I saw, because actually I reversed wholesale the property in like my first stages. I saw a property, I didn't know what to offer because like I really sucked back then. So I called the guy, hey, I have this property the owner's looking to sell. What do you need it to be at? And then he told me his price, and then I really renegotiated from the seller and then got like 10, 15K from that deal. And then after that, I'm like, okay, now I get it.
Yeah. You did it once and then had the pattern down.
So for like 5, 6 months, I was actually reverse wholesaling a lot of my deals until like I started pulling a list and then cold calling. The cold calling really sucked for me in the beginning, but like I said, if you want to make this a business, you have to do like every aspect of the business
Yeah.
and build a really hard foundation that you can rely on when you hire a lot of people. And then so that's when I started, like recently I just started delegating some of those tasks to people because I really feel like I'm the best that can do these tasks. So once you have that type of mentality, it's really hard to give it to somebody, like to delegate those tasks, because you always feel like, hey, I could do better than them. But you just kind of have to relax and lay back as a business owner for like a while, because it took you time to learn, so it's going to take them time to learn. If you're hiring just some people to, and then you think that you're going to be good in the first day, just don't hire them at all, because nobody's really that good.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice there, dude. This was awesome. I really appreciate this. And I'm sure that there's a lot of people that, like I said, can benefit from what you're saying, especially people that are at that point where you
Mhm.
were, where like they've kind of figured out that initial stages of it. They've gone through the hard work of laying that foundation. And now they're like, okay, how do I find good people? Because I want to take this to the next level. And I have different options to do that. But if I want to hire some people, like how do I do this like in a way that's going to work long term? So thanks so much, man. Again, um, any last words?
No, that's it, man. Thank you for having me, brother.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks, man.